right.
I'm doing well. We got the insurance thing straightened out. They're finally getting therapy here at the house. But I really am not housebound at the moment. I mean, I've been home long enough. But I'm really pleased with the quality of the therapy. It is such a gift. And my knee is no longer wobbling like this. It is firm. I just need to get the legs stronger. Oh, here we go. John,
Hey,
how wonderful to see you.
you look like
Okay.
you're all settled in your new place.
Yes, I am. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mark.
yeah.
Yeah.
Moving is always, even if it's just next door, it's kind of a pain.
Yeah, this was next door, so but I had help from my daughter and my son, so
Looks like they got all the pictures up on the wall and how nice. Wow, look at the books. Oh my goodness. I bet you cleaned out a lot of those.
well, I still have a lot of them, but I don't have as many as I did. Yes.
But how many books have you written now or published?
2022, I believe, is the total.
Oh my gosh.
What was the last one now?
When headliners retire, it was set in a fictionalized retirement community. But I have another one now that I'm working on and called Night Train. Well, it's about a relationship between sons and fathers, like a train. Yeah, it takes place on a train mostly. My father and I went to Chicago years ago. We rode the Monon Railroad from Indianapolis to Chicago. Gave me the inspiration to do the novel.
Well, you're next on my list. I'm finishing one. I read a chapter at night before I go to bed. So, oh, there's Joy. Hi there, Joy.
Hello there.
Oh, you're unmuted. Good. It's so good to have you with us.
Well, I'm very pleased to be here.
Oh, good. And Don, there you are. Good. Joy, where are you living?
Rossmore.
Don, your book, Mondricio Station, it was wonderful. I just want to tell John I read his novel, The Mondricio Station, and I thought it was a wonderful book. I enjoyed it.
Where do you live in Rossmore, Joy?
I live on Ptarmigan.
Yeah,
I'm telling my son he ought to move to Rossmore. He's been living in Los Angeles and he's retiring, wants to come back up here. I think Rossmore is a great place.
Oh,
So are you going to move there with him?
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit too far from his lady friend.
Donnie, you're back from your travels?
Well, the only travels I've had have been in rehab. And, I had a door fall on me. In the day after the election, I had a sliding door come off its runner, and I jerked it to try to get it. Well, anyway, long story short, it fell on me and I broke my pelvis in 2 places.
Oh.
So I had my first introduction to rehab, and other than the pain, the people were nice. And so I'm back fairly normal now. I'm walking and everything.
Does that make you more adorable than ever?
There he is, right up here.
Aloha.
Aloha. The Fernandezes are
here he is.
So is Jim Madison. Hello, hello.
Joy, I don't remember, but have you been on one of these calls before?
I want to say something to Anne. We were both on the Foreign Scholarship Committee. Anne?
Yeah.
Do you remember Elena Borghese?
Oh, yes.
She was an Italian girl who the previous year's people selected, and we found out that her father was a part of Mussolini's top friends. And the Borgheses are an aristocratic family in Italy, and her father was a noted neo-fascist right-wing politician after the war.
Oh.
And we didn't know that. Did any of you ladies know her? Did she live in any of your houses? Elena Borghese. Well, if you've heard of the Borghese Gardens,
yeah,
the Borghese Villa in Rome, that's her family. Do you remember her? What do you know about her? What was she like?
Francisco Benet, who was the working in the underground under Franco. He was a Basque. We went out together, and he said he was going to come back and marry me, but he died of a burst appendix. He came for brunch one day at my mother's apartment in San Francisco, and my mother, after he had left, my mother said to my brother, I wish you would not encourage.
Are you able to hear anything?
He came by to have brunch with us, and my mother said, to my brother, I wish you wouldn't encourage this. My brother said, why not? Tacos are nice. And my mother's remark, you want your nieces and nephews for.
Hello.
Hello.
Emily. Hello, how are you?
Oh, Patty, how are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm glad to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Well, you look just the same. How dare you?
Okay, where are you now? Where are you now?
I'm in Port Angeles, Washington, at my ranch.
This is Sarah Lee.
It's Sarah Lee O'Connor. How
You're
are
the
you
rodeo
now?
queen.
You're doing just fine. Looks like everybody's doing fine.
I'm Terry Blaine.
Okay, Terry.
And I'm Jim Madison.
And the one, you with the red shirt.
This is Bill Fernandez from Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Mary Hudson, who's come on from San Francisco, and Ann Ingram in a black vest and a blue long sleeve. She's from DC, Washington. Still in San Leandro in the East Bay.
And Marge and I are in Menlo Park.
And I'm in the valley in Stockton.
So, I'm way up here on the Olympic Peninsula in Port Angeles, Washington.
Oh, well, hello.
So what is everybody doing?
Start with John, and he could tell you what he's doing. John Foyt.
Yeah, I'm writing novels, so I have one that I'm working on now. It'll be my 22nd, I believe. And I'm walking and around Rossmore. I use my poles, my hiking poles, to walk. It's more drama. This particular one is a novel about families, about fathers and sons. And it's called Night Train because it takes place on a night train.
Joy Hicks, why don't you tell everybody what you're doing?
Doing a lot with family. I'm interested in what's going on in Rossmore. I had to give up painting and ceramics and things of that sort. I'm probably more limited now since I can't drive. But I have 4 daughters and their family. And we all went up to a spot in Mendocino. A whole group gets together with family and friends, and there are about 34 of us who moved into a little place. It's called Leonard Lake Reserve, and it's from Rossmore. It's about 3 or 3.5 hours up. The last hour is spent going down the little 10-mile road down to this place, but it was wonderful because it was a very interesting group of people, and just getting together with everything from high school kids up to people, well, my age is 96, so getting up to that later era, it was just wonderful. And so that's what I'm doing mainly. It's a lot with family, and I'm interested, of course, in a variety of different things, but I can't say I'm getting out or traveling. Things are a little more limited now. But I'm still active.
That's great. That's terrific.
Nancy Clark, you just joined us. Greetings.
Greetings.
We're telling Sarah Lee what we're doing. It's your turn.
Sitting in the V, which is a recovery place because I slipped off the bed about a month and a half ago and broke a part of my hip bone. So I'm getting recovery here. So I'm beginning to walk a little already again. So we'll see what happens. At least it's close to everything. We've been to the shopping center a lot. They have a window with a whole bunch of little cats running around anyway, and it makes life interesting. Yeah, it's actually a very nice place, and OTs and the PTs are all very nice young people, and they sure have a lot of people who work here on and off. Yes, I've been on it before, and I was living in Portola Valley, but right now I'm in the Palo Alto Shopping Center, or right next to the shopping center in Palo Alto.
What are you doing? You said you were at lunch and you.
Oh, yes.
Time.
And then we stopped at Grocery Outlet and we saw eggs on the shelves, my friend and I. So we had to come home and split the carton of eggs. You know, you can't find them everywhere these days. I'm managing to stay upright as much as I can, and I walk, and I use a cane now because I don't want to fall. I appreciate what you said about that, about falling.
Are you still getting together on a Zoom with your friends from Stanford? Hi, Jake.
No. Hello, Jake. Oh, it's great to see you.
Wow. You're
No,
muted.
because there's not any of them left except Marianne and Butner Robeson, and she's not very technologically advanced. So we use the phone. And I'm in touch with Virginia Schurz, who just won quite a bit at the Indian casino. She never loses, I swear. She has her own pet slot machine. Did any of you know Virginia?
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
knew her, yeah.
Well,
I
she's
didn't
in
know
San
she-
Francisco also.
I didn't know she gambled. Yeah, right.
Terry Blaine, you need to tell us what you're doing.
We spent a marvelous week up at the Presidio right after Christmas. We did have a couple of days of absolutely exquisite weather. We had a whole family gathering there. When we all get together, we're about 20 people. And that includes 2 great-granddaughters, plus another one that came along right after the first of the year. We're exclusively all girls in our great-grandchild.
Okay, Jim Madison, what are you doing?
Oh, criminy, what I'm not doing, I guess. Actually, the fun news is that I see probably 2 movies a week of going to movie class at Stanford Continuing Education. And this spring quarter or this winter quarter, we are watching a series. The class has been taught by Mick LaSalle. Anybody else who's in the Bay Area would and still reads a printed newspaper. Mick just retired as the leading movie critic, not only for the Chronicle but for Hearst newspapers. And he teaches the class and has since I started going back in about 2003 or 4. This quarter, we're focusing on movies that began the new era where the production code was no longer suppressing what went on in movies. And we have the rating system instead. In addition, this last Thursday night, we watched Goodbye Columbus, which was made in 1969.
Oh, I love that book.
I got censored just when I was talking about Ally McGraw and Richard Benjamin being in bed in the 1969 version of Goodbye Columbus. And then we also, there's a little movie club composed of people who I met and became friends with at going to the Stanford movie classes. We see one movie every 2 weeks and then get together on Zoom and talk about it. And our most recent assignment will be this, I forgot the name of the movie, but it had Albert Finney and Audrey Hepburn. Actually, not that long after she made Roman Holiday, really launched her Roman Holiday with Gregory Peck. If you
Was
guys,
that the one where they went on a road trip?
I think you're right, Joy, but I've not yet seen it, so I can't tell you that for sure. And I never saw it when it came out. It's got to be one of the most romantic pictures that's ever been filmed.
I just saw a great movie from 1950, French Line, with Jane Russell.
No.
Oh my God.
Oh, boy.
Jane Russell
Yeah.
was. She was launched, I guess it was. You maybe remember The Outlaw?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that was her first
Howard
movie.
Hughes was advertising Jane Law on her, we'll say, hefty bosom.
But
as
gentlemen prefer blonde.
violating the production code, which it actually didn't.
Gentlemen prefer blondes, but Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell is a must-see.
The 2 of them, and when I'm not watching movies, I'm still a big fan of soccer football, which I fell in love with at Stanford.
Well, Don Price, why don't you tell us what you're doing?
Well, I had to cruise on the Columbia River. Otherwise I just do a lot of walking. I walk downtown for a cup of coffee every morning. That's a wonderful activity.
How far do you have to go?
Oh, it's about a mile, and I have the 2 sticks when I walk.
Hey, if you're walking every day a mile, you'll live to be 100.
Oh, gosh.
I-
Well, you,
And Ingram,
you better
and-
stay up with me, you people. You better last to 100 too. I don't want to be all alone.
Yes, I was just gonna say, Don, you may be the only face on the screen
Zoom. You'll
by
have
the
to,
time you finish walking.
seeing as how you're so much younger than we are.
yeah. I'm younger than Don
Oh, okay. All
by
right.
a week or two.
Okay. All right. And why don't you tell us what you're doing?
I'm still singing with the temple choir. A small dog who likes to be walked 4 times a day.
Well, Marge has a project which she does every year called the Best Time Book, and she's on Best Time Book number 28.
Oh,
And that's just a collection of pictures and memories of our family during the year. And it starts after Thanksgiving every year. And this year, her volume was 171 pages.
Oh, my God.
And narrative
Her.
that the family provides for her.
Yeah.
And I think we're in a competition these days. Each of our kids wants to have more pictures and more pages than any of the others.
Oh, of course.
The task grows every year, but it's an amazing production.
John, I think John Foyt and Bill Fernandez, we're training writers for the future.
Yes, right.
Jake Wellington, can you come on and tell us what's going on?
Hello, everyone. It's really nice to see many familiar faces and a few new ones. Yeah, I actually just got done with our RH staff meeting, and it was announced that Reunion Homecoming is going to be 16th through the 19th this year. So if you hadn't heard, it's going to be that. I guess it's a third weekend technically, but yeah. So little sooner. I would have preferred it 1 week later, just because there's a lot of prep involved, and so now it cuts down our time with our students and helping. But in theory, the sun will be out longer and maybe a little bit warmer, and so it should be really, really nice. Alex Lee is the person who I looked at the budget, and she spent way more than I was ever allowed to spend. So I don't know what kind of magic Alex had, but she was able to wrangle more.
We get wonderful food every time. I go to every.
Yeah, I think she's gonna do a really great job again. I do expect even more people this year. The further we get out from COVID. So I think it's really going to be a really good year. The only bummer is that our football team is not doing very well, and we're going to probably the best team in the ACC on homecoming weekend.
Yeah, right.
When you can't even beat Cal, you're pretty low.
I would tell everybody to try to come, because the cocktail hour dinner that we have on Friday evenings has just been wonderful. Very well attended, and lots of fun.
And I think it'll be the same, Dawn. And I think it's going to be 4:30 to 6:30 on that Friday. So that's the 17th. Mark that down in your calendars.
You certainly do an amazing job for us, and you always have. And I hope you know how thankful we are.
Let me tell you, I am so blessed to be able to work with you all at different levels. Patty and I go way, way back at this point. And the whole 53 team, and then the 55 team, and it's just been a blessing working with all of you. And
For the 53.
yeah, of course, 53. And because of sort of the trailblazing your group has done, 59 is now doing something similar to you, where they have a separate gathering, and 64 is now starting. So I thought I was like handing off the Cardinal Society, but then new classes are coming back to me. So because they want me to be sort of still the sort of communication partner with you all because you're familiar with me. Yeah, and we have this history, so they want me to stay that way.
And may I say, Jake, that I really, really want you, as you know, my class of 55 is going to have their 70th reunion this year. And so far, we've got a huge number of people who've committed to come. So now that we have a date, we're really going to firm it up. And we're going to have a special separate event, of course. But I think our numbers are going to swell your Cardinal Society party too. So we're looking forward.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. That's what it's about. It's about, with one of the topics at the meeting that, I just got out of, we have one person who's in charge of sort of doing the surveys. Like the most satisfaction that people were just literally connecting with their friends and who they went to school with. It wasn't like, oh, the staff did a great job, or the food was great, or the educational stuff was the best. No, it was about you all connecting with one another. And really, that's what I want to be able to help facilitate in any way possible. And I'll leave Alex to the event stuff where, she gets the food, sets up all the tables.
Thank you, Jake.
We old folks get younger every year.
You mean we have a second childhood? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying that, what we launched as members of the class of 53 has now reached the class of 64.
Well, Jake, I assume that these aging classes require tons more transportation with the scooters and that sort of thing. Very busy during the reunion period.
I'm going to make a point of the person who's in charge of transportation to make sure that they're super aware of all the sort of where you all go around the campus and make sure that there's enough of these golf carts. They've been pretty good so far, but as the trend goes up for these older classes, you're right, Terry, we need to be aware of that.
Somebody can also start a little pop-up stand business marketing hiking sticks.
Jim, you're mentioning that reminds me, I started using those hiking sticks, I'm sure 20 years ago, because my knees started going bad then. And I use them for hiking and then for walking and now for getting around. They are absolutely wonderful, though, for any of you. You've recommended, and I will give a hearty second to that. They really, really help, and particularly in keeping you from falling.
Well, what's interesting is that I think it was the 60th where I brought up, how about a walking stick? Not, I didn't want to say, like a walking stick, like a supporting stick. And they were offended because they thought that was too on brand. It was too.
I have to say,
highlighting something they didn't necessarily want to highlight.
The 50th reunion is a little bit early for that nowadays. Yeah. But boy, you get to the 60th and people begin to respect that kind of conversation.
I'd like to say that,
I'll talk to Alex. Did she have a giveaway? She did, like a hat, right? Did Alex have a giveaway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jim, you inspired them to do a baseball cap.
I wanted to say with the sticks, I love to go on the campus when the students are there and walk around with my 2 sticks so I can impress the students of the stages of life, perhaps.
Well, and what's even just as important as impressing them, letting people know it's a signal that, hey, don't be running into me. Don't let kids all jump all over me. I'm a little bit fragile.
Well, don't forget you could use those sticks for weapons too.
There we go.
Lee, have you told us what you're doing?
I'm still on my ranch. I still have 2 horses and a dog and all my acreage. And the the mountains that I look at every day, and thank God for them. And I love the Olympic Peninsula, which is where I live, up in Port Angeles. And I'm involved in, I walk, I try to walk. I've got a bum knee, and I've had a bad horse accident. So my body has been broken up all over the place, back, hips, and so forth. But, you know, I'm all in one piece now. And as I say, I've got a really bum knee. But as a matter of fact, I just had a cortisone shot in it a couple of days ago, and it's amazing how that helps. And I am very much involved in you know, concerned about our country and our politics and what's going to happen in the next 4 years and all of that good stuff or bad stuff, however you want to look at it. And it's terrific seeing you people. Patty, you are an amazing gal, and thank you so much. You are the one who gets these things organized, and I so appreciate it. And I don't know what you do, but you don't change, and that makes me kind of disgusted. And I don't know. I'm a widow. I live alone, and I'm up here in the mountains. And I don't know if everybody that we're talking to, well, obviously some of you are still married and still have your spouses, which is wonderful. And I guess that's about it. I'm, as I say, I am still trying to stay on 2 feet, so that's the main thing.
Good for you.
Who helps take care of all your animals?
Well, I do it. I do. I feed them hay, and you know, I'm still able to do that. I walk way over to the barn and from my house, and I can do all that so far. But you know, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do that. But anyway, my kids live in California, and I have a daughter who's just moved up here, so that's going to be nice to have her close for at least for a while. And other than that, I wish I had some Stanford people come and visit me up here in the Northwest. But you all sound like you're Californians through and through, and you stay right there in California.
You have a bed and breakfast at your ranch?
Say it again?
Do you run a bed and breakfast at your ranch?
Well, I don't, but I do have I can, because I do have an apartment at the end of my barn, and there are times when I do rent that, and it's wonderful. People love it. So if you look me up, you can see it if you ever want to come up and stay up here in the mountains and see. And if you like to hike or anything like that, it's terrific.
I camped at Squim once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful area.
Well, Squim, yeah, that's, you know, known for its very little rain and a lot of retired people there.
Yeah.
Can we bring our horse?
Yes, you may. You may. As a matter of fact, I have plenty of room for you to bring your horse and any other animals you may have. And in fact, we all figured that the Californians, particularly after all of that terrible fire, that people would be moving up here from California. So I don't know. What do you think? Of course, you all are up on you're up in Northern California.
Did you grow up there in that area?
Actually, Central Washington was where I was born, which is right over in the Ellensburg, Yakima area. I was born there. But John and I lived in California and back east in the Philadelphia area for years, and then came back to the West.
I don't think any of us should get on a horse again.
Oh, why not? I'll
I
get
don't think
on.
would be very smart.
Oh, jeez.
Does anybody still ride a horse on this group? Who rides
sure.
a horse?
Well, hey,
I could ride a cow, perhaps. But
And Don, you can stay in the barn.
Cows are very uncomfortable, but a horse, I get you on a horse, and my horses are very quiet and tame, and you don't have to worry about getting bucked off.
no, but it's a long fall if you do.
Yes, it is. That's what happened to me some years ago.
Bill Fernandez, can you come on at all?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
yes.
can.
Oh, that's great. No, I've been having trouble with my with my sound system, which is not your concern, but my concern. Anyway, it's so wonderful to look at all of you. You look so young and healthy, and it makes me jealous. Actually,
Thanks.
I've had my own rounds of trouble, hospitalization. So I'm glad I'm out of it for now. So looking at your faces and your
But
happy
Bill,
smile
you
makes
can't
a
see
lot
the
of
rest.
difference.
You can't see the rest of us. That's
Bill, is there any activity from your family or parades or anything again?
Well, we're really kind of digging in here. We're not. My family is all separated to different parts of the world. New York, over in Washington D.C. and in Honolulu. It's a long trip to get together. I mean, everybody's about 3,000 or 4,000 miles apart. So I'm just lucky I have two of my sons in Honolulu who will come and visit me from time to time.
And I'm about ready to leave. I'm sorry.
I have to jump off too.
Well,
I'm due at Stanford for a little radiation therapy on my cheek. We didn't know how to spell sunblock when we were growing up. Do enough driving in California sun, and you're likely to get basal cell carcinoma on the side of your face that faces the sun as you drive in the United States.
Walt,
I have to run. I have to run too. I have an East Coast call to make.
Oh,
Okay.
Jake, thank you for coming.
I'll try to. This call generally overlaps with another staff meeting I have, but after that one's over, if I can ever jump onto your call, I will, and I'm happy to report anything from SAA or you want to ask me any questions. I'm happy to. I love this group, as you know.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I wish you all a good evening and good health and good happiness in 2025.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Take care.
Whoa.
Patty had the idea for these hats and to stick a 53 on them.
That's how
I stuck an old beat cow button on my hat. You know.
Oh, I love it.
Wonderful.
See you
Bye-bye.
folks. Good to see everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Walt, Miniger, come on and say hi. Tell us what you're doing.
Hello
and goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Walt,
Sorry I'm so late.
Thank you all. It's been a great pleasure.
come on on.
Oh, there's Walt came on finally.
Yeah, I finally made it. I've been viewing a video made of a trip out to Stanford in 91. And I suddenly realized, oh, I have another engagement. Have you solved the problems of the world?
We always need your wise help, Walt, to take care of that for us.
So
What have you-
Walt, are
Walt,
you,
what have you been doing?
I've been pushing my book. The first report, I thought maybe 4,000 or so.
Oh, wow. That's
Fantastic.
fantastic.
It's I don't know what to expect. I was touting it this morning. It was on a local television station, but it's been remarkably well received.
Wonderful.
It's 450 pages, sandwiched in a number of my writing and amongst the narrative. A fascinating result because I was able to connect with a writer who did a marvelous job of helping me put things in order in a readable way. And the latest Stanford Alumni magazine had an ad for the book. They have 3 pages of books by Stanford authors that you pay $500 to get it. But it's been an interesting experience. My publisher is committed to publishing books out of Kansas. It's been an interesting process at 93.
Is this your first book that you've published in this way?
There was a period of time of about 8 years that I authored a nationally syndicated news feature.
Yeah.
And a couple of books came out of that. Publisher Universal Press Syndicate pulled together a bunch of columns for the book. So I had 2 books in that occasion. The memoir is a different approach.
Right, right. Very, very nice. Fun to do something new when you're our age, right?
Well, it's a challenge. I mean, when you're talking about yourself, you're saying nice things. It's a great ego boost.
Well, do all your family members read your book?
I have no idea whether they've read it. At least 2 have read it because they proofread it. One daughter and one daughter-in-law who were very helpful in the process.
Walt, I got a kick out of when I talked to you shortly right after you published it. And I asked you how I could get the book, and you said, well, you didn't know it wasn't out yet because it hadn't had the grand opening, whatever. And so I said, oh, but it is, it's on Amazon. And so I went there and I got it on Kindle, and I read it right away. And I think I told you that, and you were astonished that I had read it already before it had even been published.
You're a fast reader.
Yes, and it's a great read. It's a great read. I loved it. Yeah.
So they come out on Kindle first?
It's on Kindle. It's on Amazon on Kindle. You can get it. Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. It's very, very good.
Well, Walt,
I've been intrigued by the number of responses I've gotten, of the number of people who have enjoyed it as a read.
Yeah.
And that's been a delightful aspect.
Well, Walt, the benefit to all of us is that it took you more than 90 years to do it, and it only took us a couple of weeks to read it.
Bill Fernandez, are you doing any writing?
Well, I put my writing on hold for a while. I've had a series of illnesses, so I've had to slow down. As soon as I get well, I'll be back in the book writing business. I wanted to say to Terry and Marge, I really love your Christmas card.
Oh, thank you.
That family picture is right on. My God, Maluno Okini Popo. That's a line for high praise, my friends.
We've got all these new little babies coming along. One more has been born. She's called Puppy. Puppy is her name. And the new one is coming in June. And so we'll have these 4 little girls. Terry mentioned that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, you did it in the newsletter.
Yeah. Very, very nice. So we are.
Marge, I'd like to say that is a very nice Christmas card, and thank you for sending it to me.
Yes.
Well, I intend to send it to all of you. If I missed any of you, it was not intentional. I feel like you've all become our good friends, even though it's in sort of an impersonal way. Somehow, after we talk each quarter, I feel very personally connected to each of you. So I do look forward, if you should happen to come, now that we have a date, which is wonderful, in October 18th, October 17th, I would really, really enjoy seeing you all. And I think you might know I'm chairman of my class, which is the class of 55. which is why Jake was mentioning 55 and 53. And we've got an enthusiastic group who are, they're gung-ho. I think we've got about 50 or 60 people that are committed that they say they're coming, you know?
Wow.
So we're going to have a big party on probably on Saturday. So I'm really excited about that. But this should be a big reunion for my class.
That is good.
Well, it's this class that has set the standard for the others to follow.
It's your class. You had a wonderful gathering for your 70th reunion,
We did.
Patty.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And so
it was not 50, but it was wonderful.
Yeah.
We had.
No, it was very nice. So we are, well, I've got a couple of guys down in Southern California that are just woohoo, they're going for it.
Yeah.
So I have no choice but to say, yes, let's do it. So that's what we're doing.
You know, we had Carol Pickerel come on, and then she went off right away.
Saw her briefly. I was too bad.
I'm so sorry that she came on and went.
But I want to say something about great grandchildren. Okay.
Yes.
Now, we don't have just little girls. We had a little boy this last time.
Oh, wow.
So it was exciting at Christmas to see almost all of these little great grands, except one who was sick and couldn't join us.
Oh.
But the little girls and this one little boy are just, as you all know, great grandkids are wonderful.
I'm still waiting.
Grandkids were great, but great grands are just fantastic.
Yeah.
Patty, I wanted, well, everybody, but I wanted to mention it was last Sunday, we went to see the Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh,
and the funny thing was the director, do you know that, is John Patrick Salivar.
Oh, yes, Salover. Yes.
And so I went we have season tickets and they sent us a postcard and I knew his name was spelled Jon. And then Salivar is an unusual name. And I didn't know his middle name was Patrick, but I thought, I bet that's Sherry's son. Then I looked up his, bio and he mentioned, his relatives.
Yeah.
So after the play, I went up and I said, I'm a good friend of your mother's and I've known her. We were freshmen in Robley together. And, I'm sure he was really interested. But anyway.
No, he is, yeah.
And he lives in Sacramento. It was such a surprise.
Okay, now he was the theater director in Salinas.
Anyway.
And they left there and moved to Stockton, right?
Yeah, it was such a surprise. I remember, I didn't know what her kids, were in, but he looks like Sherry.
She's slowing a little, but she's still alive. This has been a great group today.
Thank you so much for getting us together.
Such a great group. Okay, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
We need you to close for us with your blessing.
You need your blessing. All right. Mekelo Pumihana, almighty class of 1953, Stanford. Eke kuo kalani, hoi mai kaiki, hoi mai kaakamai, hoi mai kamana, aole pilikia, aoe pono, maluno pono kako, maluno pono kako. Maluno Opono Kako, mighty class of 1953.
Wow.
Bravo.
Joy and Sarah Lee, so good to have you with us. And there'll be another one in a couple, 3 months. So hope you'll be here for the next one.
Well, you're gonna have to tell me.
And Bill,
you're going to have to translate that for me. So. I love the musical sound of it. So that was.
Would you like to translate, Bill?
You're
Yeah,
all
I'd
right,
like to know
translated.
more
I said
about
aloha.
this.
And then I said, may you all be blessed with love.
Oh.
The mighty class of 1953. I ask the Lord in heaven to give you understanding, to give you knowledge, to give you spiritual power, to keep you free from harm, and to keep you in good health. And then I ask that that you be blessed now and forevermore for all your goodness to each and every one of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Mahalo nui loa.
Mahalo nui loa kako, aloha no.
Next time we'll get our speaker working.
Judy,
Great,
good to
Judy.
see you.
Everything is
Okay.
fine.
You guys.
Thank you,
Aloha.
Patty.
It's so wonderful.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Bye, Walt.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Patty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Glad to see you looking good, Donnie.
Bye, Donnie.
Yeah.
Get up.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.